You've counted every last calorie. You've sweated through brutal workouts. You have tried every diet out there, from keto to intermittent fasting. And yet, that weight just keeps coming back. That's such a frustrating and demoralizing cycle that can make you look like a total failure. But what if I told you that the biggest thing standing in your way is not your diet? The real battle for weight loss is not fought in your stomach, but it is fought in here, your brain. And right now, probably your brain is winning because that is wired to work against you. But here is the good news, you can rewire it. Today, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to rewire your brain using science backed tools. Hello, everyone, this is Prashanti. Welcome to Sprigrid, where fitness meets nutrition and brain science. Ever feel like you're doing everything right, but that scale just refuses to move? Or worse, you lose 10 kilos only to gain 12 back? That's not your personal failure. That's biology doing its job a little too well. See, our brain is running on ancient survival code, a code that is written tens of thousands of years ago when food was scarce and survival was unpredictable. Back then, our ancestors didn't have supermarkets, meal preps, or 24 hours delivery. They had to hunt, gather, and hope that tomorrow brought another meal. So their brains have evolved to protect fat because fat meant fuel and safety. Think of your brain as an old ancient security guard, loyal, protective, and a little outdated. He's been trained to see one threat and one threat only, that is starvation. That ancient security guard panics when you start losing weight. He doesn't understand your about goals. He doesn't know about your macros, workouts, or protein shakes. All he knows is that you are losing weight. That means danger because energy stores are dropping. So he does what he's evolved to do, slows down your metabolism, increases your hunger hormones, or makes you feel tired so you will rest instead of move. Let's not blame brain here because he's not sabotaging you. He's trying to save you because in the ancient world, losing weight meant you might not survive, you might die. Fast forward to today, that ancient brain is still running the show. But the environment has completely changed. Food is everywhere, comfort is easy, and movement is optional. But your brain hasn't updated its software. It's still reacting as if it's protecting you from extreme scarcity of food, where in reality, it is actually protecting you from reaching your goals. The most famous and shocking example of this is, have you watched Biggest Loser on Netflix? I've watched that. It's been brutal. There have been studies on this one. Researchers followed the contestants after the show and found that despite their incredible weight loss, their bodies fought back with vengeance and their hunger hormones went up the roof. The result? Most of them regained all the weight they have lost in the show. This is an extreme example, but this perfectly fits in what scientists call metabolic adaptation. When you lose weight, your body doesn't celebrate, it goes into panic mode. Your brain is not weak, it is just ancient, and the key is not to fight that ancient brain, it is to retrain it, to teach it that in today's world, safety doesn't mean storing fat. It means feeling strong, nourished, and balanced. Once your brain feels that safety, the alarms go quiet and your body finally lets go of what it's been holding on to. So, how is your brain running this cohort operation against your goals? We need to understand three key players here: hypothalamus, reward system, and a sneaky villain called neuroinflammation. First, let's meet the command center, the hypothalamus. This tiny region in your brain is the master regulator of body's energy. It is constantly listening for signals, especially from a hormone called leptin. Leptin is made by fat cells and its job is telling the brain, hey, we are good, we've got plenty of energy stored, you can stop eating now. But with obesity, leptin resistance can develop. It's as if that leptin reports are sent, but hypothalamus inbox is full and notifications are silenced. Hypothalamus never gets that message and it thinks that you're starving and keeps the hungry signal switched on. And then when you finally start losing weight, your fat cells shrink and your leptin levels drop sharply. And your brain goes into panic mode. It interprets that drop as a full blown emergency, like your food supply vanished overnight. In response, it activates AGRP neurons. Let's not get deep into that, but think of them as emergency red buttons. It mashes those buttons, triggering hunger, which is impossible to ignore. Next up is your brain's reward system and its favorite chemical, dopamine. Our brains are hardwired to seek pleasure and repeat whatever helped us survive once. See, in our ancient times, whenever our ancestors stumbled upon something high in sugar or fat, their brains lit up like a slot machine jackpot. That's the nature's way of saying, hey, you hit the jackpot, you hit the gold, eat more of this, it could keep you alive. That was such a brilliant design for the world of uncertainty and hunger. But today, the problem is we are surrounded by food that is engineered to hijack the dopamine system. High calorie, high reward, high in sugar food available all the time, 24 by 7. And every bite is like pulling the liver again on that slot machine, and then your brain loves it. Over time, it creates the powerful craving loop. Your brain doesn't care about your long term goal of getting healthy. It is always chasing that short burst of pleasure, the next jackpot. And when you start dieting, your anti reward system kicks in. Dopamine levels drop, stress hormones rise, and the very act of resisting those foods feels uncomfortable and even painful. The siren song of that slot machine just gets louder. It's not that you lack discipline, it's like you're fighting against millions of years of evolution in a world where your brain was never built for. Finally, the third part, there is something even deeper happening, something called neuroinflammation. When you carry extra body fat, your body can develop kind of low level constant inflammation. Think of it as static interference on your body's communication lines. That static can affect your hypothalamus, the part of the brain that is supposed to hear the messages. But with inflammation, those messages get scrambled and your hypothalamus cannot hear any messages. It also spreads to prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that is responsible for focus, decision making, and self control. When that area gets inflamed, it's like running a very complex software on a overheating computer. What happens? It just gets slow, glitchy, and eventually crashes right into the craving. And here is the kicker. Extra body fat fuels more inflammation, and that inflammation makes it even harder to make healthy choices. It's a vicious cycle, one that starts in the body but ends up hijacking your brain. And here is the interesting part, how to rewire your brain. Okay, it feels like the game is rigged, but actually, this is where the science gets exciting. Your brain is not set in stone. It has an amazing ability called neuroplasticity, the power to reorganize and form new connections. Think of it as the route that you take to work. You travel in that road every day. You don't need maps. You know where to turn left, you know where to turn right, and you know where to stop. You know where the traffic signals are. You know everything about that road because you have traveled so many times in that road. So now you try to take a new road. You follow the maps, you try to take the new road, and then your brain will try to learn the new route. Try to take it for the next 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks you would not need the maps because your brain has already formed those connections. Your brain already knows where you're going. Your brain already knows where the traffic signal is, where to turn right, where to turn left. This is exactly how you build new habits. The one amazing thing I do here is like I know where my snack cupboard is. I keep going to the snack cupboard and then like my brain signals me saying, hey, you are at the snack cupboard, you have to open it and have whatever is in there. And that is usually when I fall into the craving. And I will make sure and I will train my brain that, okay, I'm going to that snack cupboard, but I'm not opening it. So, and I'll do that every day for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, it doesn't even signal me that I'm at the snack cupboard. It doesn't even tell me that even if I see, open the snack cupboard, it doesn't even signal me, or I don't get those cravings at all. This is how you build new habits. Here are 3 science-backed tools you can use to put neuroplasticity to work. Practice mindful eating. Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose. When you apply it to eating, it's like switching on the lights in the room you normally stumble through in the dark. Instead of eating when you're scrolling through your phone, engage all your senses, smell it, chew slowly, and notice the flavors. Most importantly, check in with your body. Are you really hungry, or are you just stressed or bored? Research suggests that this practice can actually lower the volume on your brain's reward system, making those high caloric jackpot foods less enticing. By doing this repeatedly, you can strengthen the connections between your conscious brain and your body's fullness signals, helping your brain finally hear the messages it's been ignoring. Second tool is to use strategic exercise to grow a better brain. We all know exercise burns calories, but its biggest benefit for weight loss might be what it does to your brain. Exercise boosts a molecule called BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor. What this molecule does is it's like a miracle grow. It builds new neurons for those mental pathways. One study found that just 8 weeks of exercise normalized brain function in overweight individuals, making them more sensitive to fullness signals and managing better at dopamine system. The key is consistency. Any activity is better than not doing anything. Moving your body consistently can help you build a better brain that is more resilient and has better impulse control. The next important tool is actively manage stress to protect your brain. Chronic stress is one of your biggest enemies. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol is like, think of it like a frantic crisis manager. It means well, but it makes terrible long term decisions. To deal with stress, it pushes you to go for a quick energy, like those quick, high fat, high sugar comfort foods. It also slows down your metabolism and tells your body to store fat, especially around your belly. Over time, constant stress also messes with the parts of your brain that control focus and self discipline, making it even harder to make good choices and follow healthy routine. The way out of this cycle is actively managing stress through deep breathing, meditation, better sleep, or spend time in nature. When you calm your stress and lower your cortisol levels, you're not only easing your cravings, you're also building that healthy and stable, calm environment for your body to build those healthy habits. So, the conclusion is, for years you have been blaming yourself for a battle you didn't even realize you were fighting. The struggle to lose weight is not a moral failing. It is a biological clash with an ancient survival system that is working exactly as it was designed to. So, by shifting your focus from your stomach to brain, you change the entire game. You get to move from a place of frustration and self blame to a position of power and understanding. You're not doomed by your biology. You can build a brain that works for you, not against you, on your journey to lasting health. Hope this helps. Thank you.